This is the 10th of March 2026. Clip on the Defender by Suzanne Burdick, B-U-R-D-I-C-K, Ph.D., published March the 9th. Don't know if you folks know this, but I've decided quite a while ago not to take any more vaccines. That was during the COVID hysteria. I've never taken any shots, and I'm not going to take any more shots, period. Title: A Giant Problem. Experts address massive epidemic of vaccine injury. Sure, I just said. The U.S. must address the massive epidemic of vaccine injury, according to scientists, doctors, lawyers, and medical freedom activists who convened today in Washington, D.C. at a roundtable hosted by MAHA Institute. I want people to understand that vaccine injuries are common and they're all around, and vaccine injuries dwarf the benefits of vaccines, said MAHA Institute President Mark Gorton. Who was it that funded Moderna? Oh, I know. That little bald-headed, short, fat, dumpy guy. He funded Moderna to develop mRNA. How many people have died? They're still dying from the vaccine. You know, the one that the government pushed on people to take. The military all had to take unless they backed out and resigned, which many of them did. The airline industry had to take. My son had to take. I got one daughter that's stupid. She's a leftist. She took him and she gave him to her kids. The U.S. must address the massive epidemic of vaccine injury, according to scientists, doctors, lawyers, and medical freedom activists. MAHA Institute President Mark Gorton told the Defender that the massive epidemic of vaccine injury, MEVI for short, is a giant problem. I want people to understand that vaccine injuries are common and they're all around, and vaccine injuries dwarf the benefit of vaccines, Gorton said. Today's event, the MEVI Roundtable Massive Epidemic of Vaccine Injury, featured over a dozen speakers and panelists, including Children's Health Defense CEO Mary Holland, Informed Action Consent Network CEO Del Bigtree, Brownstone Institute Fellow Toby Rogers, Medical Genomics Chief Science Officer and Founder Kevin McKernan, CHD Chief Scientist Officer Brian Hooker, and Brown University Associate Dean for Oncological Science at the Warren Alpert Medical School, Wafiq El-Diari. Discussion topics included the scale of current vaccine injuries, the link between vaccine and autism, how the number of routinely recommended vaccines skyrocketed after vaccine makers were granted liability protection, negative health impacts of the COVID-19 vaccine, the one that Trump funded, the one that Trump pushed on the American people when he had the harbinger of death, Anthony Fauci, and Dr. Bricks promoting it every single fucking day. In pediatricians' perspective, pediatricians made a lot of money if they injected all of their patient base. Holland told the Defender she was grateful to the MAHA Institute for convening the event. People need to understand the devastating extent of vaccine injuries. The event's strong showing signals that medical coercion paradigm that enforces mass evacuation is falling apart, she said. Whether the powers that be recognize it or not, we thankfully are coming to the end of the era of forced medicine. According to its website, MAHA Institute focuses on reforming the political, regulatory, and legislative environment to end corporate capture of government and restore its focus on the health of American people. It's disgusting too. The FAA, they have a mandate that no pilot can take any medication or injection that hasn't been in the marketplace for at least 12 months. They went ahead and they changed that so they could inoculate all the pilots. I mean, this is really fucked up. Then they went ahead and they changed the medical requirements because pilots that took the shot, their hearts were showing irregularities that would negate them from being allowed to fly. They changed the requirements to include those irregularities as being passes. You can't make this shit up. So the guy flying your airplane could be a time bomb in his heart. During his opening remarks, Gordon said most of U.S. families have suffered from vaccine injuries, but most people don't know this because we've never clearly named this epidemic. Saying massive epidemic of vaccine injury is a mouthful. We need something catchier, hence MEVI, he said. In addition to serving as its president, Gordon is a Wall Street executive who founded Tower Research Capital. He's also the creator of LimeWire and CHD board member. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services has commissioned more than 100 studies on vaccine injury, Gordon said. The dam that has held back the massive vaccine injury is breaking. Already, the Henry Ford study discussed in the film An Inconvenient Study found vaccinated children were far more likely to develop chronic diseases than unvaccinated kids, Gordon said. The Ford study involved 18,000 children enrolled in Henry Ford Health System insurance plan in Michigan. The results showed vaccinated children had a 4.29 times the rate of autism, 3.03 times the rate of atopic disease, a group of allergic conditions, 5.96 times the rate of autoimmune disease, and 5.53 times the rate of neurodevelopmental disorder. Didn't I tell you not to vaccinate the children? Didn't I tell you that they depend on you to protect them, not to sacrifice them? Obviously, these fucked up parents didn't listen. The findings were statistically significant, even when accounting for gender, race, birth weight, premature birth, and respiratory distress or trauma at birth. In the U.S. Senate hearing in September 2025, Attorney Aaron Sir testified that the study authors, staunch vaccine supporters, refused to publish their results. They were concerned about losing their jobs or reputations because their findings contradicted the official public health narrative and vaccine policy. Gordon said several state governors and hospital systems are now willing to do their own analysis and that will likely replicate the Ford study findings. Applause broke out when Gordon called on mainstream media outlets to acknowledge the scope of vaccine injuries. Unlike your publication, acknowledge the reality of massive epidemic and vaccine injury. You will be complicit in sickening the families of the people who trust you the most. I told you, folks. I told you not to do it. I couldn't talk out my neighbors from doing it. They went ahead and all got shot up. My neighbor's wife now is in hospice. I'll attach the link. Look at it. Pass it along, and thanks for listening.